welcome to this very special video. This isn't a banana cast, but it is R Square Studios. I'm Paul Dalton.
And I'm Tom Quayle, and he's the special one.
Yes. Might have noticed a little change. Yeah, got bored.
Gone.
No ponytail to grab anymore, no. That's...
But I can still punch him in the face.
Yeah, we'll get to it. This video is our How I Met Your Mother feelings, reactions, thoughts, that kind of thing, because we got done with season 9 a few days ago, being a few weeks behind the States on TV because we're in Britain, so it's just wrapped up for us. So we're going to talk about the finale, the last ever episode, so spoilers abound if you haven't yet seen it. Yeah, we'll just ding! So yeah, if you haven't yet seen that episode, then you might want to be careful going forward, because we will talk in depth about it and how we felt about it, and just the series in general, how we got to that point, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Should we start with the premise? Because I mean, we've talked a bit about How I Met Your Mother and Banana Cast and other things as being one of our favourite shows to watch. Should we start with just how we feel about it in general?
Can do.
Or do you want to just go right in with the finale?
I reckon we go right in at the finale and get to why that was awesome for us.
Yeah.
Which would be what earlier in the seasons made that work.
Yeah.
Because I think we'll put over now that we both thought it was a great finale.
Absolutely, yeah. It wrapped things up so well. It was, the word that kept coming up was perfect. In regards to the context of the show and the episode, it was a perfect way to do particular scenes, particular story arcs with particular characters. I think that's the last of the ambiguity. We're going to get more into specifics from this point on. So 3, 2, 1. Here come your spoilers. You've been warned.
Ha! Yeah, we spoiled it.
So the first thing that comes to mind is Barney becoming a dad. Yeah,
that was the only way to end the whole Barney Stinson thing.
Yeah, because especially it harkened back to there was a throwaway gag in there, harkened back to the Not a Father's Day thing.
Yeah,
it was it season 3 or something.
Yeah,
it was early on. The Barney had a pregnancy scare. Well, someone he slept with had a pregnancy scare, and turned out she wasn't pregnant. Not a Father's Day. It's going to be a thing. You know, balloons, mugs, T-shirts, you know, that kind of thing. So when he found out what it was, the nurse, they were in the waiting room, and the nurse came through and said, "Congratulations, Mr. Stinson. Congratulations, you've done the blood work, and I'm not the father. Yeah, not Father's Day cigars, throws them around. No, congratulations, it's a girl. We'd like to meet her." Not really. It was like, Barney, fucking go on, you know. And he meets her. And earlier in the episode, he'd given this whole thing about, you know, you know me. I'm not. If I'm not going to marry Robin, I'm not going to marry. If I'm not going to work with Robin, I'm going to work with anyone. I'm not the guy who meets a girl and says, "I love you, and I will love you for the rest of my life. Everything I am and everything I have is yours for the rest of my life." Blah blah blah. And for him to turn around and say the exact same thing to his newborn daughter. I mean, I thought it was a little cheesy. It was the exact same line, but it worked in context.
Yeah. If anything, that was the only way they could end the Barney thing.
Yeah.
Was to have it that the only girl he could fall in love with was his own daughter.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a bit odd, but if you've seen the episode, you'll know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember who it was. I think it was on Scrubs actually. You don't just love your children; you fall in love with them from the moment you first hold them or see them. You know, it might have been Scrubs. I might be mistaken. We've had a couple of drinks tonight. And
what's different?
Yeah, exactly. You know, when did we not get on camera with alcohol in our systems? Apart from like one episode.
Yeah.
And it did work so well. It was a tearjerker for me. I'm more open with my emotions than you are. I don't think it would have got you anyway, but it did for me for personal reasons, and like you say, it was a perfect way to wrap up the Barney Stinson thing, because there was a bit in the bar
where they made a joke of it and everything like that, and they got a funny out of it.
Yeah, I was thinking about the two girls,
like,
kind of scantily clad in the bar. It's hello ladies, you know, it's like, hi, do you want to do some shots with us? Shots before noon on a Wednesday afternoon? please go home, have some self-respect, put some clothes on, and call your parents. I'm sure they worry, because he's a dad at this point, And Robin walks. It was the day of Ted and the mother's wedding.
Yeah.
What was her name? I think we found out a name that episode.
And I still can't remember because I'm drunk.
Yeah, I want to say it began with an L, like a Louise or a Leanne or a Lisa or I'm probably wrong. It's probably like,
probably miles off.
It's probably like Rachel. Yeah. But yeah, so Robin turned up for the wedding and back and forth with the ex-husband Barney because they got married, Barney and Robin. And it didn't work out. We found that in the second to last episode. They got a divorce. Because this was all flash forward. Because present day, we saw he hadn't met the mother, hadn't introduced himself yet. So we've gone forward to the wedding. They already had kids and living together. So Robin and Barney got divorced, and that's why they barely saw Robin anymore because she had that line with Lily on the last scene of the penultimate episode. You know what the gang is now? It's my ex-husband flirting with any skank he can see. A married couple who are expecting their third kid, who are barely get to see, and the guy who I probably should have ended up with in the first place, being Ted.
Clever, sly hint.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
So we've talked about the Barney thing, because they wrapped up a lot of loose ends in a good way of capping off things. I don't think we saw the birth of the third Erickson kid. We got as far as Lily being pregnant and being Halloween in that penultimate episode. When Marshall was Captain Ahab and Lily was the White Whale, Moby Dick. And we obviously saw later on. Did we see that? Because she wasn't pregnant anymore, but I don't think we saw the third kid.
Yeah.
For the Erickson clan.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot went on in that one episode.
Yeah. It's a few days ago since we watched it, and we had alcohol and slept since then. And I've slept since then. You barely have. Long weekend. I'm sure we'll get covered in a banana cast at some point. Yeah.
Work.
So we talked about the Barney thing. And Barney and Robin and their relationship petering out. Robin kind of became a background player for that last episode because he was kind of more focused on Ted and the mother and how they barely saw Robin anymore because she was she's an international journalist. She was in Moscow and Argentina and all over the world, basically anywhere but New York, and they actually made a joke about it. Wow, a Shabbatsky sighting in the wild, like she just happened to turn up. Because Ted was showing the GNB building
to his daughter.
To his daughter, talking about the architecture and everything. So I think it's great. Probably Ted's daughter, soaking it all up. And Robin turns up. What happened to the building was here before? I thought it looked a lot better. Obviously, about the Arcadian. Yeah. There was a big story arc going to save the Arcadian, tear it down and build the GNB tower. So that was good harking back to that episode because that quite a long-term relationship that he'd had with, I can't remember her name, that was married to the captain that wanted to tear it down, wanted to save it, I should say. It was a lot of references to past things like Not Father's Day. We saw him going to Robots vs Wrestlers. That's where Barney found out that
perfect mom. Yeah, number 31's pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. The number 31 was pregnant, and we found out Robot vs Wrestlers. A lot of callbacks.
Yeah.
Which was so. I mean, obviously McLaren's popped up and the apartment, because they'd all moved out of there. But they showed the last time they were at the apartment, that Halloween party. And of course Ted had gone as the hanging Chad again, but instead of waiting for the slutty pumpkin, his wife, it wasn't his wife at the time, mother of these kids. No, I think they were married.
Engaged,
yeah.
Just later on in the same episode, will you marry me next Thursday?
Yeah. Well, no, the Halloween party was in the penultimate episode, but yeah. Robin just called him the mother of his kids, so they weren't married. And she'd come as someone from, I think, the Gore campaign trail, obviously not supporting Bush in that election. you know, it's always a weird political one from the year 2000. You know, so that's kind of the gag. You know, no one gets the Hanging Chad reference anymore. It was kind of played out in 05 when he first did it with the Slick Pumpkin. So yeah, there was that. You know, with the apartment. McLaren's is always a staple. So of course, right before the wedding, there was a big group photo taken of the 5 of them at McLaren's. Yeah, because you know Robin was there and everything else. And we kind of knew where Marshall and Lily was heading. And the twist, you know, because the narration stopped being Bob Saget, because he's been Bob Saget throughout everything. He's the guy with kids. I'm going to tell you about, you know, back in 2005, I was with your Uncle Barney. Bob Saget, always uncredited in the episode, with Bob Saget doing it. And it changed to Josh Radnor, who plays Ted, talking to the kids. And you know, I was looking over there when your mum got sick. And we were just sat there, oh God.
They swerved it. When you see the kids sat there in episode 1, the mum had been dead for a number of years.
Yeah, 6. I think.
6 years.
Because I remember them saying, I heard somewhere, I think it might have been on like the Rooster Teeth podcast or something, that they'd already filmed the ending years ago because they were worried about how people would look, they wouldn't look like what they did. And I guess it refers to the kids. Yeah. Because the kids never changed their outfits, apart from maybe from like the first episode, and they filmed the second one later on. But I think so when we had that thought about maybe the internet clamouring, you know, they want Ted and Robin to get together and blah blah blah, so they changed it at the last minute. But they must have had it planned for years. Yeah. That's how it's always going to end, because you know they couldn't do it. Here we are 9 years later, no way the kids look the same, because you know what are they like, 16 and 14 or something. Yeah. Like that, you know, we're talking, you know, they're going to be in the 20s now. They're not going to look the same. So they must have had this done for years, and for it not to get leaked online. Yeah. There must have been some very strong non-disclosure agreements in their contract. So if you blog it, tweet it, Facebook it, whatever, MySpace it, you know, it's 2005. You know, it's, you know, we will sue you. You'll never work in Hollywood again, and yeah, so it was such a well-kept secret for it not to get out like that. Because we don't know if they do end up getting together. It's only implied that, you know, Robin is obviously still into Ted. Even going into the wedding with Barney, because she's having a big freak out and she's talking with Ted, you know, me and you would run away together and blah blah blah. And Ted, of course, being the best man, talks her out of it, and she tries to flee the wedding, and the mother talks her into staying and blah blah blah. And she gets married to Barney, etc. 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 And the whole thing boils down to he's finally told the story, and that's how the story of how he met your mother. And the daughter says, I don't buy it. There's no way you told us all this for how you met Mom.
You got the hots for Aunt Robin.
And you're asking our permission to ask her out. No, of course not. That's not why I'm doing it. It's so obvious.
Call her.
We love Aunt Robin. You should totally call her. No, I can't do that. Dude, your dad, call her.
Yeah, I guess. No.
I've got a better idea. And he turns
and it segues right back
to episode 1, and he turns up at her door. Doorbell rings, she got a security system, it's not working, looks out the window like in episode 1 with the dogs, all 5 dogs looking, and there he is with a fucking blue French horn.
Blue French horn!
The Smurf penis, as they refer to it, and he's just got that Josh Radnor look at, and she's got that smile, so it's heavily implied that they do end up together, Robin and Ted. I mean, it's great, it was so well done. Because it showed, you know, the mother in hospital and she was ill. They didn't say what she was ill from. I think it's implied to be some kind of cancer, but they never said it. She was just ill. She was sick, and she never came back. She'd been dead for 6 years before the story even started. So the story started in 2000. Well, it starts in 2030 is when. That's modern day for kids. I'm going to tell. That's when the kids are. Yeah. So going back to 2005. So she died in 2024. You know, so it's that's some good time together, like 10 years or something.
Yeah, I was going to say. So in other words, they were together 10 years before the mother died.
Yeah, and then 6 years later, you know, so in the year 2030, when he'd known Robin 25 years at this point. Yeah, and they're in the 20s in 2005, so the good makeup job, they grade Josh Radnor's hair up and they sewed it up a little. So he's 50. And Robin's about 50 herself, or very late 40s, and they're getting together. I don't think it's the same two dogs. I don't think it's the same 5 dogs.
No.
It can't be. Maybe the same breed, but it can't be. Not 25 years later. But it's good. Just a good thing. Good little reference. And it all built up on top of each other. Basically from episode 1, and it had to have done for the way it ended, for the way it was filmed. They knew that's where they were going with it. We watched. I probably didn't get shown in America. It was on 3-4 because it was a British host. Meeting some of Ted's exes, and it was good. It was all right. Just a little half-hour thing. And their thoughts on the mother. And one of them said, "I like the fact they picked an unknown, so you couldn't project your own feelings onto them." And as a good point. If it was an actress you were already familiar with, no matter who it was, whether it was Amy Smart or put
it this way, if the mother was Amy Smart, I wouldn't have understood anything that happened in the last episode. It was just, come on, get your tits out, love. You've done it before, do it again.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the actress's name. It's Faye, Tina Fey. It could be Tina Fey. Someone with just someone you've seen them in something before, and you think, oh, I don't like this actress or whatever, but they picked an unknown, so you had no expectations.
It's like if you go back to when Ted met the mother's roommate. The roommate was played by Rachel Bilson.
Yeah.
And I turned right at you and said, it's either go the completely opposite way or there's only one way to top this.
Yeah.
In other words, it's got to be Rachel Bilson with Ted's sort of attitude, or it's a direct cross between Lily and Robin, which the mother was.
Yeah, basically, she had that kind of kookiness of Lily to some extent, and she was quite down to earth as well, like Robin. It was the kind of best of both worlds. She actually reminded me a little bit, especially when I first saw her, and later on the more she acted. I can't remember the actress's name. She was Gooch in Scrubs, the one that ended up with Ted, the lawyer. She was Raj's girlfriend in Big Bang Theory, who made the comic book. So you know who I mean, don't you? She had social problems herself and kept escaping through bathroom windows.
Yeah.
You know who I mean. In fact, Gooch was in an episode of How I Met Your Mother. I think it was something about Lily and Marshall wanting to elope, and I think I can marry you today. Is what I would tell you if I could actually give you that authority. You need to speak to a judge. Yeah, sure, you can see a judge. Is what I would say. Would you please stop doing this? You know the episode, don't you? Yeah, it's reminded me of her.
Oh, and of course, Marshall becomes a High Court judge.
Yeah, and he's decided he's gonna run for the Supreme Court of New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they'd already done the Italy thing at this point. They'd done Rome. And they were back living in.
And
New
the
York.
running joke was now, Judge, I'll allow it.
Yeah, he wasn't being lawyered anymore. I'll allow it. It was Judge Fudge, and
that was
Fudge Supreme.
Fudge Supreme.
Yeah. Again, just ongoing gags, and even in the penultimate episode, because the plan was for Ted was going to move to Chicago until he met the mother at the train station, and it all fell apart, and he sat
there in the bar, and Marshall goes,
"What are you still doing? I'm supposed to be in Chicago." Oh yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. But yeah, there's a big tearful goodbyes with the other guys, and even with Robin, it's like, what was it? This is a major bummer. Major bummer. It was something like that. It was one of those little the salute joke. And Lily, you're very tearful. I can't do this. Do Marshall next.
E.T.
Will E.T. goodbye make it easier? Okay. I'll be right here. Okay, that was really creepy. I don't want to see you for a while. And then him and Barney had the highest of fives, the high infinity. Every high five I've ever had, I ever possibly could. It was like Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash across the ring, jumping. Cut to them in the reception with ice in their hands. Worth it. A lot of running gags came up. If you came into How I Met Your Mother in season 9, there'd have been a lot that you wouldn't have got. It's highly recommended you go back. I mean, Friends sort of had that, the whole importance of Ross and Rachel, that kind of thing. But Friends was one of those shows that, even if you never watched Friends, you kind of understood what Ross and Rachel was all about.
Yeah.
You know, you're not a Friends fan, but you know Ross and Rachel.
Yeah. In other words, How I Met Your Mother, I have watched every single episode.
Came in late, bought the 1 to 7 box set.
1 to 7 box set, got right caught up before the start of season 8, and I have seen the whole thing in order.
Yeah. Exactly, it's like we did, you know, with MASH.
Yeah.
You know, that thing was
There
off,
is 2 shows I've done it with, and it's MASH and How I Met Your Mother.
I mean, MASH was off the air 2 years before I was born, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm older than you are, but we've done it, you know. And then the movie that came out years before, but we're getting off subject.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those shows that it merits it because there's so many payoffs, because things are told so tangentially. It's like there was one thing, it was at the end of an episode, something that happened, I think it was definitely Barney, I think it might have been with Robin, right at the end of an episode in McLaren's, and then Ted walks in a green dress. Okay, now we're even. That's part of another story, but we'll get to that. And we never thought anything of it, that's not going to get paid off. And like 3 seasons later, we found out the story of why Ted's wearing that green dress, and he walked into that barn, now we're even. It's like, Jesus, they actually pulled that back. It's very cleverly written.
It's like how Barney met the mother.
Yeah, it was one of those innocuous things. It was months beforehand. And, you know, he'd gone down to get diapers from the store because Lily needed them. And, you know, I think Robin didn't want to go or something like that. It was just kind of... Obviously challenges, you know, he wanted more challenges. I challenge you to do this. And it was a challenge accepted. And off he went, you know, just getting him to do errands, just call it a challenge. I think that was one of the differences. One of the differences between Friends and How I Met Your Mother is, I think, the amount of TV channels around now. If Friends came out now, it wouldn't have been as big as it was, because there's more things to choose from. And I don't think it would be as big as How I Met Your Mother, because it's not as clever.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like Friends, it's a funny show.
Yeah.
But there's some very clever things in there. Like when you have an emotional moment in How I Met Your Mother, it's done genuinely. There's not a gag coming.
Yeah, it's not. Where's next joke? Where's next joke?
Yeah, Friends does. They'll have an emotional moment, but they'll have a gag coming. It's like there was an episode of Ross and Monica's grandmother had died, and they were at the funeral. I think, yeah, when he was there, the grandmother, yeah, and Ross ended up falling in a grave. You know, it was funny. It was quite well done, but you know, this is kind of supposed to be a sort of series. I mean, it's not like, you know, like Marshall's dad.
Yeah.
The humour it wasn't just forced in there at the funeral one. When you found out his dad died at the end of the episode, and there was no gag after that. It was him reacting, breaking down. His wife, yeah, he was married to Lily at that point, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but it was him and Lily reacting to it. I think it was the next episode. It was like, you know, a week later, and it's the funeral, and back in Minnesota, and all the jokes were genuine. It was a sad situation, but it was like genuine humour of Ted and Barney. Is like, our job today is to get him to laugh, you know, and playing off what we knew about the character. He likes silly things, you know, internet videos of a judo teacher getting kicked in the crotch by a gorilla, that kind of shit, you know. And that's the kind of thing that Barney and Ted would do, regardless of whether it was a funeral or a night in McLaren's or anything in between.
Yeah.
To try and get a laugh.
The best way of putting it is, How I Met Your Mother handled knife edge big stories better. It always left you at the end of the episode going, Christ, I want next week's now.
Yeah.
That was the strength of How I Met Your Mother. You wanted the next episode right away.
Yeah, leave them wanting more. With an episode of Friends, as well put together as it was and well written, at the end of the episode, oh, that was good. Yeah, alright. Let's see what they do next week. You weren't going, God, what are going to be next week now?
Yeah.
And part of that was, I think, because when they did something big at the end of a season, like a wedding or something like that, it was
Robin and Ted breaking up, the prenup breaking down between Quinn and Barney.
Yeah.
For a couple of examples.
Yeah, I was thinking more of Friends. When Friends did a big thing at the end of a season, like Ross marrying Emily, it was an hour-long episode. They didn't make it 2 half-hour episodes, so you get one. He's like, oh, what's going to happen next? Yeah. They blew the load and had an hour-long special, which was good because you had more people watching. You know, it's an hour-long special. So it seems like more of a big deal. Then you got the cliffhanger at the end. You know, take the Emily, take the Rachel, and you get that kind of, oh, and you don't know where it's going to go. You know, are they going to get married? Are they not? You know, what's going to happen with Ross and Rachel? But you weren't clamouring for it. It's like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. You weren't going, why can't I watch it now? You're just kind of, oh, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And then you wait the 3 months or however long it takes in America. I don't know how long in between seasons. And then when it came back, it was like, all right, now we can find out. You weren't Googling it, you know, what's going to happen? You know, looking at any spoiler you could.
That was the other thing that I thought How I Met Your Mother did really well. Flashback writing.
Yeah.
Flashback or flash forward. Because the brilliant thing about season 9 is you found out about the life that the mother and Ted had together without having to do a follow-up season.
Yeah.
That was very well done.
Yeah, because they could have done the whole thing ending on that's the meeting, and they could have, you know, wait a year or so and then bring out season 10 and let's see them as a couple. You know, the kind of the way Scrubs did. They did a big wrap up of season 8 when Zach Braff, when JD left the hospital. Then they did a season 9 and, you know, make it med school, you know, with the new crowd, and they brought JD back for a few episodes, and it was like, you didn't need to do that. You wrapped up season 8 brilliantly. You didn't have to do anything like that. Really emotional ending. It was an hour-long episode, and it was that kind of film projection of, we don't know what the future could be, and this is how we're seeing it, you know. And he's with Elliot, and you know.
Mind you, we are saying that they may balls it up and do a season 10.
No, they won't. The writers have said
that's it done.
That's it done. Last ever. No reunion specials. These rumours keep circling around about Friends reunion. You know, it's been 10 years since Friends went off the air, so you know the one where there's a reunion or whatever. You know, the creators of How I Met Your Mother have said, you know, we're not doing that. This is the last ever episode. We wrote it specifically for this. It's like we have with Third Degree.
Yeah.
We know exactly where it's going. We know exactly where it's going. This is the payoff. There's opportunity for us to do something extra with it. It's not something we're looking to do, though. If we did something extra after season 9,
it's just one of those drunk conversations. You know what would be funny?
We don't think anything ever will happen with it because it's not within the budget. It costs too much, and there's not much gags to be had with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, there's some in there, but it just ended up being like the Sex and the City movie or something, where you take a TV show and put it on the big screen, and it just becomes a long episode of the Simpsons movie.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need a movie for it. That was the idea that we had. So, yeah, wet the whistle.
I can't whistle.
I'm trying to think where to go with this.
You lost your train of thought now. Are you that level of drunk?
No. I was going to talk about more about the E4 thing, about the girlfriends, because we went through trying to name as many as we could, and there was some that we'd forgotten about, and some that obviously we remembered that came straight to mind.
Boats.
Yeah, boats, and you know the
psychopath,
the psycho, the captain's wife, the mother's roommate, Robin, obviously.
I still say the best looking one was the mother's roommate, just simply because it was Rachel Bilson. I have a thing for a short lasses with a decent rack.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why you like Bernadette in The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, another good example.
Yeah.
We won't start naming names locally, otherwise I'll get in trouble.
Yeah. She's got a tricky figure. She's short and stacked like me. She's not stacked like you, Ma. She doesn't trip over hers. Sorry, I just love that line. I think it's great. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm wondering about, I should say, with The Big Bang Theory, because that's one that you've never got into. You want to go back to watch from season 1, episode 1, and try and get into that.
But I'll probably never do it.
Yeah,
there is another show I have done it with, where I've gone back and watched the lot, and that was Prison Break.
Yeah.
Because I appreciated the cleverness of it.
Mm.
If you like Ocean's 11, I recommend doing that. If you like Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13, don't, because you don't have the intellectual capacity to understand it.
Fair enough. Yeah, because with The Big Bang Theory, that's one of my favourite TV shows, and I'm wondering how much longer it's going to go, because I think we just wrapped up season 7.
Yeah.
You know, it's got season 8. We know it's got season 8. Will it go to 9? Will it go to 10? and wrap up there, you know, because 7, if he does more than 7, he usually gets to about 10. Friends did 10. MASH did 11 actually.
Yeah. What I have noticed is the ones I tend to get into run to an odd number. MASH was 11.
How Met Your Mother was 9.
Yeah.
Prison Break was 4.
Prison Break was technically 5.
Ah, okay.
It was 4 and 3 45-minute episodes. So it was technically 5.
Yeah, they had a mini season.
They had a mini season.
Yeah.
In other words, you found out how Michael died.
Okay. Spoilers for that, by the way.
Yeah, we did say spoilers earlier. There's spoilers for Prison Break in this. Last episode of season 4 of Prison Break, you find they're at Michael's grave. Season 5 was 3 short episodes where they blamed Sarah Sincredi for the murder of the woman who was trying to put Michael back behind bars because they'd seen her shoot and gone off where she died. And she went there, Michael went back in, broke her out, sacrificed himself so Sarah could get out of prison.
Okay, I've never watched the show, so I have no idea who or what you're on about, so okay.
Yeah, but people who've seen the show know exactly what I mean. But it was one of those where you thought, oh no, they're going to go back to it and they're going to spoil it. But the way they did it, it just made it seem like it gave a legitimacy to the previous 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That's the impression it gave me.
Going back to How I Met Your Mother, we're going to talk about favourite characters and favourite actors from the show.
You know what I'm going to say all day long.
Barney Stinson and Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris. The guy's a legend.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I haven't seen anything the guy does badly.
Yeah. You were even tempted to watch a particular episode of Glee because he was in it. And you know, if he's in it, there's some merit to it.
Yeah. It's a simple case of, when it comes to like Broadway, I'm not Broadway's biggest fan.
There's a couple of musicals you're alright with. I mean, you like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. But when you can do a 20-minute opener and then just turn around casually and say, well, that's our budget, good night.
Yeah.
Just casual as you like.
You're not even out of breath, you know, he's got cardio coming out of his ass, you know, he's Broadway trained, he knows how to project properly from the diaphragm so you're not going to exhaust yourself and everything else like that. I mean, you like Sweeney Todd, I mean, the Johnny Depp, you know, Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Alan Carter. But seeing him...
Yeah, there's 2 names in that make it cack.
Yeah.
Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
But seeing Neil Patrick Harris in Sweeney Todd as the kid from the Burton version, I think it's in every version as a kid, but seeing Neil Patrick Harris in there with that Cockney accent, saying what is in Braille's miracle elixir, this'll do the trick, sir, true, with his long blonde wig on, it's like, Jesus Christ. You can't not watch it. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Anything you can host, I can host better.
I can host anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. YouTube it.
Just
Neil Patrick Harris, Hugh Jackman. Oh, the Spider-Man routine where he got stuck because we were kind of taking the piss out of the Turn Off the Dark.
Yeah.
And he had Angela Lansbury, and I think it was like the head of the Tony committee.
Yeah.
They're doing an award. And
all I'm going to say is just type into YouTube the words Neil Patrick Harris Tony Awards, and you will get a list of stuff that will keep you laughing, keep applauding for hours.
Welcome to the Tony Awards, or as we call it, 50 Shades of Gay. Even the thing he did, I think it was the Kids' Choice Awards, Nickelodeon or something, like with Kelly Cuoco, Penny from Big Bang Theory. And you can't. There's no. You want to just host everything. It's like, what's wrong with your tugs? You fucking tear away your tugs. You've got this bright sequin thing ready to do a number.
Yeah.
And these are my parents. And they're 2 obviously showgirls in their sequin outfits, and it looks like he's about ready to do a dance number right there and then.
And then there's one he did for Disney.
Yes, Christmas at Disney. Yeah, because in America, I'm not sure how it's every year or was a one-off or whatever. They do Disney Christmas, and there's like one at Disney World and one at Disneyland, like a kind of simulcast. So when something's going on in Florida, they're setting up California, then they'll show what's happening in California while Florida's setting up, etc., etc. And Neil Patrick Harris had one, and there's a big opening number right down Main Street, USA in Disney World. at Disneyland, whichever one. I can't remember which one's which. It's Disney. But you know, the castle in the background is dancing with Goofy and Mickey and a couple of the princesses. I think Bella. Snow White.
Whatever.
Not even Belle. You know, Snow White. I think, you know, so one of they turn up. I think there's a couple of villains. Genie turns up. I remember he turns up. And, you know, a couple of yeah, it's Disney. You know the kind of mascots that they're going to be. I think even a couple of the Marvel guys were there, like an Iron Man or something.
Yeah.
Darth Vader. Darth Vader turned up. That's right. It was because they got. I think it was the year they got LucasArts. So you know, they must make a big deal of Darth Vader there for this big.
Because if anything, best long-running character and best long-running actor in it, we're going to say Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, I will agree with Neil Patrick Harris. I liked Ted.
Yeah, I think but the way he presented that character was fantastic.
Well, the way Neil Patrick Harris.
No, the way
Josh Radnor did Ted.
Josh Radnor Ted.
Yeah, and that's how I got you into the show. Because so you've got to watch this.
I think the way you sort of,
I'm Ted, Rob is Marshall, and you are Barney. And you watched it, and here's this guy flashing the cash in a suit, bimbos on each arm. He's like, okay,
I get this now.
Yeah, is Marshall the lovesick, you know, blah 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 blah,
pitiful,
pussy whipped, and then is Josh, is Ted, you know. Every girl could be the one ready to give his heart away.
Yeah, and then I went back to the first. Then I went back to the first episode, and I went, "Yep, we were right."
Yeah, that's how you got into it.
Yeah, because I think every group of friends can look at Friends. Because I mean, we could do with the same with Friends.
You're Joey, I'm Chandler.
Yeah, and if you've got a group of mates that's around the same number, every group of mates can do it. You look at how and that's what makes a show so good, is you can relate to it in that way. It's like, who's who?
That was the thing, because I did. That's why I said Ted over Barney, because I relate more to that character. Don't get me wrong, Barney's a great character and he's well written and he's funny, but I relate more to the Ted character, so that's my personal favourite. It's like why I say I'm not going to go into you don't care. It's not appropriate for this. It's 3 words and you don't want to hear them.
Yeah,
you know exactly what I mean. Alright, what about worst characters?
No, wait a minute. I've got another one for best characters. Best long-running bit part character.
Oh, like outside of the core 5.
Ranjit.
Yeah, Ranjit, okay.
Hello! Because he was there in the first episode.
He was there at the last episode.
He's there at the last episode, and he pops up in some... he pops up as the limo driver.
Yeah. And then when we found out Marshall's going to be a judge, I was like, can you help me get a licence? Can you help me get a driving licence? What? He's been driving the taxis and the limos for 9 years and he hasn't got a driving licence. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, Ranjit is definitely a strong... I was saying worst, I was thinking, obviously not including the core 5, because you can't say there's a bad character in
there. Isn't.
But I think the worst character in How I Met Your Mother, the captain.
Oh yeah, he just annoyed me.
It was so much of the show was grounded in reality, and he was just kind of, there's no way that this guy would be this successful, acting like this. He's just so up his own ass in a cartoonish way. He was a caricature.
Yeah.
He wasn't a character. That was. It made for some interesting moments, especially with his wife and the relationship with Ted and everything else, and but as a standalone character, it was a kind of not like it. No, it's a caricature. It's a bit too far fetched. It's too silly. Outside of him, there wasn't really a weak character. I mean, Buzz kind of came close to that, but she was played up for that reason.
Yeah.
She was designed to be
the annoying voice.
Yeah, it's like Honey, you know. Oh, Honey, you know. It was like her. You know, that was the purpose of that character, was to be the annoying or the ditzy one. I guess the captain kind of was designed to be annoying, but it was just the way it was done. It wasn't very well fleshed out. Yeah, because we got some insight into it. Because we met Ted's parents, and we met Barney's parents.
There's another really good bit, Parry. Another really good bit character. Barney's brother.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Barney's dad, but yeah, Barney's brother is very well done.
Yeah.
And Barney's dad, I like John Lithgow.
Yeah,
You know,
that was that was good as well.
That was again when they first met, and near the end of that episode, he's trying to take that basketball, the basketball, the hoop down. You know, it was one of those. It's not played up for laughs, you know, and it didn't need to be, and it was just genuine. You know, or it felt it, you know.
It was that was probably one of the really good bits. I liked that storyline they did.
Yeah. I mean, John Lithgow's a great actor, man. I liked him in Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock's
that's probably
brilliant,
his most well-known role, probably, being...
I mean, Harry and the Hendersons was a movie he did.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the... do you ever see Santa Claus the movie?
No.
No. An elf messes up at the North Pole, gets kind of sent to the real world, and he meets this businessman, basically. He wants to create Christmas 2 in the middle of June, you know, get more money in for the company. And he's played by John Lithgow, and he's like a kind of ruthless businessman, but he's kind of pompous, guy, John Lithgow. He was even good in Shrek.
Yeah.
He was in Dexter, when he played a serial killer. You know, fucking great. He's a good actor, and played it really well. He was that meek, timid driving instructor who used to have a wild side, and he kept trying to, you know, impress Barney by doing these things and making shit up, but it didn't work at all.
Yeah.
You know, exaggerating things, and to no avail, because Barney had other expectations. He'd been raised for years thinking Bob Barker was his dad, and then here's this meat guy.
Yeah. The other character that did annoy me a little bit, Marshall's mother.
Yeah, but again, that was kind of, it was supposed to...
It was intended, and put it this way, it put the audience in the eyes of Lily.
Yeah. Yeah, you were seeing her through Lily's eyes, basically. One thing that stood out with me a bit was Marshall's brother. I can't remember what the name of the brother was, but remember when the one that was listening in on the phone call, when he was talking with Honey and Lily and Robin and everyone else. Remember the brother? I mean,
yeah.
Kim gave him a Chinese burn and everything else, Indian burn, whatever you want to call it, whatever country you're in. His acting just seemed a bit off. He seemed a bit out of place. It was kind of, he looks enough like Marshall. It's just a bit part. Fuck it, let's put him in there.
Yeah, it was a simple case of, I thought with Marshall's brothers, they played far too goofy. It made it less believable that Marshall passed the bar.
Yeah, in that gene pool.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, your mother was fucking the postman.
Yeah, I liked Marshall's dad.
Yeah.
That was...
Somehow the dynamic with his dad worked, but the dynamic with his brothers didn't.
Yeah. The brothers worked well with each other, and the mother, I mean their own mother, I mean the mother from, but Marshall and the brothers, it was wasn't a good fit.
No.
And I think maybe it was the goofiness of it. It's a hard thing to do when you bring in an extended family to a show like that. I mean, in Friends we met a couple of, well, in one episode we saw all of Joey's sisters, but you know, we only really met properly like one or two of them who had like any meaningful place in there. You know, Ross and Monica, brother and sister, and they're the main cast, so we don't need to worry about it. We met their parents. There was no cousins coming in later on or anything like that.
That was the other one I reckon they did really well. The sister, Ted's sister.
Yeah.
That was quite a good episode, a couple of episodes where they brought her in.
And Robin's sister as well.
Yeah.
Worked quite well. Those two basically having a throwdown in the hotel room and playing hockey with each other.
Yeah.
It's Robin's wedding day and she's not freaking out like a normal bride would be. She's having a hockey game with her sister.
Yeah.
And the biggest argument is that was across the line. No, it wasn't, or whatever they were arguing. It was hockey.
Of course. What do you reckon of the whole Robin's dad thing? Did they push it a little bit too far?
I think a little. Oh, and Robin's dad. I was thinking of Lily's dad. We'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
Robin's dad, I think so. I think they did overplay that just a bit.
Yeah, because put it this way, at the time the dad, that's the thing that always confused me. Around the time the dad was sort of like making her up to be a boy, like sort of like about 16, 17, was the same time as the everybody counts.
Yeah, the timeline didn't quite work.
That I noticed that.
Yeah, when she's supposed to be this teen Canadian pop star as Robin Sparkles, but she's also on the hockey team and Dad's dressing up like a boy and taking her hunting. There's a weird disconnect there. Honestly, I kind of think
when Dad wasn't looking, that's what she went and did.
Or maybe there's a bit that we just forgot about. Because remember, she's, you know, your teammates don't kiss and all that, because she's already kissing one of her teammate guys. I have no son, and he stopped raising her as a son at that point, and let her be a girl, and that's where Robin Sparkles came from after that.
Yeah.
And it's just maybe it was just glossed over. We just can't remember. It was just
but the whole Lily's dad thing. There's things in that were a little bit too far fetched. Yeah.
He's already doing the absent dad character, and I understand they're not want to get too bogged down, because that can be a really dark and depressing.
But what I thought was brilliant was the way they did it with Marvin, with Lily and Marshall's kid,
right,
and her dad coming back in of it. That was done well.
It was a good redemption angle.
Yeah, it was just the setup to it. You didn't. There were certain things where it's like, that's like his whole hands thing.
Hands?
He had a goofy hand.
Are you thinking of his character from Scary Movie 2?
No, he had a gammy hand in How I Met Your Mother as well.
Did he? I can't remember.
Yeah.
All I remember is the stupid board games he came up with.
Yeah, and one of them set fire to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he got the gammy hand.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You forget I've watched all the episodes in order. I remember little pieces of shit like that.
All I remember is the gammy hand from How I Met Scary Movie 2.
Yeah, there's a little heart back to that.
Fair enough.
But as I say, overall, I think, out of 10, how would you rate How I Met Your Mother? Overall, 9 seasons, start to finish, you've got to grade it out of 10. You can go up a point.
Like I say, like an 8.3 or something.
Yeah.
I think I'd just give it, I'd say an 8.5. And the reason I say that is, while season 9 was good and very well done and very well written, setting the whole thing over a weekend was a mistake. If they made it a week, fair enough.
You got
too much happened in that weekend.
Yeah, but of course the other thing was that half of season 9 was flashbacks or flash forwards.
Quite a good chunk of it was, granted, but doing it all over. If it had been a week, not a problem. It probably got a 9.5 from me. But doing so much over that one weekend and then doing flashbacks, it's like, well, this could have been found out earlier. This didn't need to be told here. But it made sense in the context.
I think what it was they didn't want to drop who the mother was to the last episode of season 8.
Yeah.
That's why it was done that way.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to go for a 9.2.
2, very precise.
Because it's simple. You know why? I gave MASH a 9.5.
Right, and it's not
the
quite...
finale isn't quite MASH.
Yeah.
But to be the fact that I turned around and said the only thing that beats it is MASH shows how good it was.
Yeah. The MASH finale, by the way, having the record for the most watched TV programme in history, with like 103 million people watching.
Yeah, that's how good we reckon How I Met Your Mother was. I'm putting it second to MASH.
Yeah. And the fact it's a CBS show in America, which it's a light entertainment one. It's the same network that has The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one of the. It's not like it's ABC. ABC. I mean, again, there's more family-oriented viewing and everything, but it's a bigger network.
Yeah.
You know, or NBC even, which I think CBS is kind of a subsidiary of NBC. I think even one of the outtakes that we saw, Marshall, he said something. He swore like one of the outtakes. Oh fuck! Oh, sorry, NBC, CBS. Oh shit! Oh god! You know, should I even do the scene with him, or should I wait for the new guy? No, there's a sense of humour about it. But, you know, it's like, again, the network's mixed up. It's one of the lesser networks. It's like showing something on but not necessarily Dave. Like ITV3
Yeah.
over here, I think. You know.
Basically, whatever the signature channel is, if it's got a number on it, it's
Yeah.
CBS.
Yeah. Pretty kind of. I think that's how it is anyway. I mean, I was not being in America. I'm not all that familiar, but from what I've gathered,
Yeah.
it's one of the lesser ones. Or it's thought people think lesser of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think like.
But
Family
what
Guy
you'll
make
find
facts
is
about
usually
it.
if people think lesser of it, or it's sort of like, that's the stepchild network, it usually has the better shows on it.
Yeah, it can do. I mean, there are obviously exceptions. You know, people think less of Fox. You know, and there are some things on Fox that are absolute garbage, but there are things that are good. I mean, people rip on How I Met Your Mother. Fuck's sake, people rip on Family Guy. I like Family Guy. I'm entertained by it. You know, it's shown on Fox.
That's the thing. I don't mind Family Guy. The one that really annoys me and I find unfunny, South Park.
Yeah, and that's a Comedy Central thing.
Yeah. Whereas Comedy Central has done some really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like
2.5 Men. I liked it up until the point Charlie Sheen wasn't in it.
Yeah.
No Charlie Sheen, it's not 2.5 Men anymore, go away.
Yeah, I like The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Yeah.
I've watched a couple of episodes of that. Some episodes I like, some I don't. I can take it or leave it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you didn't like his mugging. You know, like he's playing up. You know, you got to play to the audience a little too much. You know, I got to. That's kind of the gimmick. You know. But yeah, so apparently this was a How I Met Your Mother episode.
Yeah. And I think, right, your top 3 sitcoms at the moment then, that have finished.
That have finished.
They have to have finished.
Wow.
Do you count MASH as a sitcom?
That's what I'm thinking, is it sitcom or just comedy shows?
Comedy show / sitcom, top 3.
And these aren't any particular order.
Oh, come on, you got to put me in order, that's cheating.
Let me tell you the 3, then I'll see if I can arrange them. In that case, I'm going to go MASH, How I Met Your Mother, and Scrubs. In fact, I think that's the order. Number 1 being MASH, 2 How I Met Your Mother, and 3 being Scrubs.
Put it this way, 2 of them are the same.
Yeah.
And in the same order.
Yeah.
My third one, just because of the cleverness of where they set it, and they did it first, Porridge.
Oh yeah, I was thinking we have British things in here as well. Yeah.
Porridge.
Yeah, fair enough. It's not one of the thing is I just never got into it, but I would give it a fair enough. I never tried to get into it.
Yeah.
It was one of those things I watched.
It wasn't a long running storyline, but the way they did it was clever.
Yeah.
It's not like no one's done this before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's spurred from the 7 of 1
Yeah.
with Ronnie Barker, and they made it work. They got the film out of it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but the film wasn't going too far, and then it was going straight to the spin-off, and that was good. I could sit down and watch an episode of that. In other words, there was nothing that came from the Porridge thing that made me think, oh, for fuck's sake, they've gone too far now.
Yeah, like with MASH, they had a couple of spin-offs. They had After MASH.
Yeah.
I think there was a Trapper John spin-off when he left.
Yeah.
But After MASH was the one that everyone remembers. It was Klinger, Potter, and Mulcahy.
Yeah.
Mulcahy?
Father Mulcahy.
Yeah, Father Mulcahy. Yeah. In a hospital back in the States. I'm just trying to think. Am I saying his name right? Is it Father Mulcahy? Yeah. Yeah. But, it lasted a season and people didn't give a shit. You know, so basically, he hasn't got Hawkeye in it. We don't care. You know, that's why Trapper John didn't last. If Trapper John, I'm sure I've read that Trapper John existed. I think it was actually Trapper John MD to give it its full title. So yeah, Porridge is a good one. I really got into Scrubs. And it's in 3rd place because the season 9 let it down. If they'd ended at season 8, fantastic because it had that great ending. Tying up loose ends.
I'd say Scrubs is in my top 10, but it's not near the top of it.
Right, it's probably like a number 7 or something like that.
7 or 8.
Yeah. I wanted to say a Red Dwarf, but I heard a few weeks or maybe a couple of months ago
They haven't finished.
Yeah, they're on about making a season 11. Technically, it's never been out of production since the 80s.
Yeah.
They're always talking about doing new shows.
That's why you can't put Blackadder in either. because it's always been one of those that's exactly the same, back and forth came along and everything like that. Otherwise, Blackadder would be up there. But because there's never been so like, we're over, done, that's it, you can't consider it.
It's unlikely that Blackadder will make a comeback, but it's not off the table. They're always talking about ideas of what they could do with Blackadder. And it's the same with Red Dwarf. It might not come back for season 11, but apparently it is. We'll see. It's like it's the Ghostbusters 3 theory. It's probably not going to happen, but we keep hearing things about it. Is it or isn't it? You know. We said top 3. Do you want to do top 5? We said 3 of them. We'll throw another 2 out there.
What are your other 2?
Now I said it. I'm trying to think. Sitcoms that are off the air now. I think Friends and Seinfeld fell out the other 2.
Has Frasier finished?
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah.
I was going to say that's up there.
Yeah, Frasier's definitely in my top 10. I think Seinfeld was very, very clever, and it basically was the precursor for all the sitcoms to follow it. You know, Friends wouldn't exist without Seinfeld, and you know, How I Met Your Mother wouldn't exist without Friends. So it's that kind of Seinfeld needs to be included in there somewhere, but do I put it above?
But weirdly enough, you know where I put that? 10. I never really got into it.
That's fair enough. It's all personal preference, you know. Yeah, but Frasier again, very, very cleverly written. But wouldn't it have existed without Cheers? You know, so does Cheers belong in there? It's one of those the things can exist on their own, you know.
Yeah.
The MASH show.
I don't know whether it's finished or not, but sitcoms are. It make it easier if you didn't say if they're finished. But sitcoms I like the most, it goes sitcoms or comedies you like the most. It goes MASH, How I Met Your Mother, Porridge, Not Going Out, Frasier.
Okay.
That's my top 5.
Alright, I'd go MASH, How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, MASH, How I Met Your Mother, The Big Bang Theory. Because if we even include ones that haven't finished yet, then that goes in there. What else is my number 3? Scrubs, isn't it? Scrubs, and then I think Frasier goes 5. And Seinfeld being number 6.
Yeah, but Not Going Out's one of those very underrated ones. If you've never watched Not Going Out, give it a look.
Yeah, it is funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah. Alright, so that was our thoughts on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. Well done, you're the only thing that's come close to MASH.
Yeah. Alright, thanks for watching this video. We'll be back soon with another episode of the Banana Cast with a special guest.
Yes.
Not saying who.
Toodaloo.